It's now my pleasure to introduce Dean of the National Cathedral, the Very Reverend Dean Hall.
Thank you. So we're gathered this morning from a multitude of identities, gay and straight, bisexual, transgender, straight, allies, mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, brothers and sisters. And we come together from a variety of faith communities, Jews and Christians, Buddhists, Hindus and Sikhs, people who consider themselves spiritual but not religious. And from all those, from traditions all over, people who have suffered persecution by the words and actions of those claiming to speak for God. We are all gathered here this morning to say, in spite of that message, that it is time for marriage equality. I'm here as a straight Episcopal priest, ordained for 35 years, married to my wife Kathy for almost that long, and I believe in God's blessings for all faithful, committed, long-term human relationships. I'm also here as the leader of the Washington National Cathedral, a church that strives to be the spiritual home for the nation. I just started in October, and in January I announced that now our National Cathedral will begin before performing same-sex marriages. It is right, and it is time to do that. As one of the nation's most iconic faith communities, the National Cathedral strives to be a house of prayer for all people, a place where all are welcome. As we live into that expansive and inclusive identity, we at the Cathedral want to be as clear as we can that all means all. Every person is loved by God. We can preach that from the pulpit till we're blue in the face, but the most emphatic way to say it is to live it by uniting the same-sex couples in marriage who come to stand before our altar. Now, many of you have felt unwelcome and unloved or ostracized by your faith community. And you know all too well how well biblical teaching and religion have been used to bolster the other side in this fight. There are many who say that any orientation but straight is a sin, and they pick and choose various verses from the Bible to support their claims. But I am here to tell you that there are communities of faith, including your nation's cathedral, where we do not believe that to be true. We read our Bibles too. And we find a different story there than the ones our adversaries discover. In our Bibles, we see God making and blessing people in God's own image. In our Bibles, we see Jesus eating and walking with people from every walk of human life. The faith leaders who stand with you today say the time for marriage equality in this country has come. I also believe that God has given each of us the gift of our sexual orientation. I believe that God has given us the gift of marriage as the best way for faithful people to live out that sexuality. As a straight man, my church and my government have long given me the right to live into those gifts. Those of us from churches and synagogues and temples and mosques who are gathered here with you today are saying our faith communities are ready to extend those rights to everyone. It is time that the government do the same. The freedom to marry the person you love is not only a constitutional right, it is a moral right. It is time for marriage equality. Thank you.